The sun blazed over Santa Monica Beach, its golden rays glinting off the Pacific Ocean. The beachside gym, a gritty open-air setup with rusty barbells and salt-worn benches, buzzed with the usual crowd, surfers, fitness buffs, and the occasional tourist snapping selfies. Amid the clang of weights and the rhythmic crash of waves, a larger-than-life figure stood out, Blake, the Bulldog, Carter, a 6 feet 4 inches bodybuilder with biceps like cannonballs and an ego to match. His laughter boomed across the gym as he flexed for his followers, his crew egging him on with cheers. Blake was the undisputed king of this scene, a local legend who thrived on attention and intimidation. Enter Jason, the Hollywood action star, unassuming in a faded black tank top and cargo shorts. At 57, he was leaner than Blake, his physique carved from years of martial arts and functional training rather than sheer bulk. He'd come to the beach gym for a quiet workout, a break from the chaos of filming his latest blockbuster. Jason preferred to keep things low-key, focusing on his sets with the precision of a man who'd spent decades mastering his craft. But Blake, spotting the celebrity, saw an opportunity to boost his own fame. "Yo, look who's here." Blake's voice cut through the gym, dripping with mockery. "Jason, the movie tough guy. What's up, old man? You here to lift some baby weights or just pretend you're still in those action flicks?" His crew erupted in laughter, phones already recording, eager for viral content. The crowd parted slightly, eyes darting between the cocky gym bro and the action star. Jason didn't flinch. He set down the kettlebell he'd been swinging, wiped his hands on a towel, and turned to face Blake. His expression was calm, almost amused, but his eyes, those steely, piercing eyes, held a quiet intensity. "Mate," he said, his Cockney accent sharp, "I'm just here to train. You wanna talk, let's talk with the weights." The challenge was subtle, but it landed like a gauntlet thrown in the sand. Blake, fueled by the crowd's energy, couldn't resist. "Oh, you wanna go? Let's see if you can back up those movie stunts. Deadlift Showdown, right now. Loser buys drinks for the whole gym." The crowd roared, sensing a spectacle. Jason raised an eyebrow, then nodded. "You're on." The stage was set. A weathered barbell was loaded with plates, starting at a respectable 315 pounds. Blake went first, strutting to the bar like a peacock. He gripped it, veins popping, and hoisted the weight with a theatrical grunt, slamming it down to cheers. "Your turn, action hero," he sneered, wiping sweat from his brow. Jason approached the bar with no fanfare. His movements were deliberate, almost surgical. He set his stance, gripped the bar, and pulled. The weight rose smoothly, his form flawless, and he lowered it without a sound. The crowd murmured, impressed by the quiet power. Blake, unfazed, called for more weight. 405 pounds. He lifted again, his face reddening, but he completed the set, basking in the applause. Jason matched him effortlessly, his face betraying no strain. The crowd's murmurs grew louder. The weights climbed, 455, then 500 pounds. Blake's bravado began to crack, his lifts were shakier, his breathing labored. Jason, though, moved like a machine, each lift a testament to years of discipline. The crowd was now split, some chanting for Blake, others drawn to Jason's understated dominance. At 545 pounds, a monstrous load, Blake faltered. He managed the lift but stumbled on the descent, the bar clanging loudly. He laughed it off, but his eyes betrayed a flicker of doubt. Jason stepped up. The gym fell silent. He adjusted his grip, took a deep breath, and pulled. The bar rose, steady and controlled, his body a coiled spring of strength and focus. He lowered it gently, then stepped back, barely winded. The crowd erupted, some in disbelief, others in awe. Blake's jaw tightened. "Lucky lift," he muttered, but the confidence was draining from his voice. Sensing the shift, Blake tried a new tactic. Lifting's one thing, but let's see if you can fight like in your movies. Spar with me, right here, right now. The crowd gasped, phones raised higher. Jason's lips twitched into a half-smile. You sure about that, mate? I don't want to embarrass you in front of your fans. Blake, mistaking Jason's calm for weakness, pushed forward. Come on, don't chicken out now. The crowd formed a loose circle, the tension electric. Jason sighed, then nodded. All right. But we keep it clean. No cameras. Reluctantly, the phones lowered. They squared off on a patch of sand near the gym, the ocean roaring in the background. Blake, towering and muscular, threw a few showy jabs, taunting Jason. Let's see those action star moves. Jason, shorter but agile, stood loose, his stance rooted in years of martial arts training, Wing Chun, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and kickboxing. Blake lunged with a heavy right hook, aiming to end it quickly. Jason sidestepped, fluid as water, and countered with a sharp elbow to Blake's ribs, not hard enough to injure but enough to sting. Blake grunted, surprised, and swung again. Jason ducked, weaving effortlessly, his movements economical yet precise. He landed a quick jab to Blake's chest, then a leg kick that made the bigger man wobble. The crowd was stunned. This wasn't movie choreography, this was real skill. Blake, frustrated, charged like a bull, aiming to grapple Jason to the ground. But Jason, using Blake's momentum, pivoted and executed a textbook jiu-jitsu takedown, sending the bodybuilder sprawling into the sand. Before Blake could recover, Jason was on him, locking in an armbar. Tap, mate, Jason said, his voice calm but firm. Blake, red-faced and humbled, tapped out. The crowd exploded in cheers, some chanting Jason's name. Jason released the hold and offered Blake a hand up. The bodybuilder hesitated, pride wounded, but took it. As he stood, dusting sand off his shorts, Blake's bravado was gone. Didn't expect that, he admitted, his voice low. I thought you were just a movie guy. Jason shrugged, a faint smile on his face. Movies are my job, mate. But I train for real. He clapped Blake on the shoulder, a gesture of respect that softened the sting of defeat. The crowd, sensing the moment, applauded both men, but it was clear who'd won their respect. As promised, Blake bought drinks for the gym, a round of protein shakes and beers from a nearby vendor. The two men sat on a bench overlooking the ocean, the tension replaced by an uneasy camaraderie. Blake, still processing his loss, asked, "How'd you get like that?" "I mean, you're not even that big." Jason took a sip of his drink, staring at the horizon. "It's not about size, mate. It's about discipline. Years of it. Started as a diver, scrapping for every chance. Learn to fight, to move, to never stop learning. You've got the muscle, but heart and focus, that's what makes the difference." Blake nodded, absorbing the words. For the first time, he saw beyond the Hollywood star to the man who'd earned his place through grit and resilience. The crowd dispersed, but the story of that day spread like wildfire. Online forums buzzed, and locals dubbed it, the day the Bulldog got schooled. For Jason, it was just another workout, another moment to prove that real strength isn't in the mirror, it's in the fight you bring when no one's watching. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Jason grabbed his gym bag and headed off, leaving Blake with a new perspective and the gym with a legend. The ocean kept its rhythm, indifferent to the drama, but for those who witnessed it, the day was unforgettable, a clash of egos, a display of skill, and a lesson in humility that felt like it belonged on the big screen.